What is going on, everybody? Thank you for tuning into another edition of On the Road to Victory. I am your host, Jimmy Smith, and I hope you're all having yourselves a fantastic weekend. Beautiful day out today. Hopefully you got to enjoy it. I know I was pleasantly pleased to wake up today and not have to work. So, what a week it was. What a week it was. But I hope you all had a great week, and I hope you're ready for a little bit of free agency beginning next week. And we talked about this. Look, we're going to have a tampering period a couple of days. On the 12th, free agency begins. The 10th is the tampering period. So I hope you're ready for Monday action to get started here. So I'm going to try tomorrow to put out the corners and the safety show at different points there. We'll see how that goes. But I'm going to do everything I can to get all these free agents out to you. And we'll have a little recap of everybody before it officially begins. But go check out the other videos that are out there. Every single free agent the Eagles have. All of the ways Eagles can create cap space with these guys, everything you need to know about the Eagles, and then, of course, every free agent that is out there. We went through all of the offense. So far on the defense, we have the edge and the inside interior guys. So whatever's on your mind, we're going to try to get to it. But tonight, we've got the linebackers. So I appreciate all of you taking the time here. Hope you're having yourselves a great weekend. If you have any thoughts, any questions, leave a comment down below. But I really appreciate you guys, and hope you're ready to go win that trophy one more time. How about a few more times? Let's build that dynasty we've been talking about. And, well, this is how you do it. Sicko season. Howie the man. Let's have faith in him. And, well, I think we already should, because we've seen what he's done at the linebacker position already. Now, because of that signing to Zach Bond, this cap space is not what we really have, because the Barkley and Bond cap hits, once they go on the books, and Barkley, I told you, his has hit the books, the 8.1 cap hit, but I will wait to adjust this stuff until everything comes out. But as I've mentioned, you still have over 15 mil. Only need a couple mil for the draft picks. Don't listen to people that don't know how the cap works. I promise you only need a couple mil for the draft picks. So we've got a lot of money to do whatever we want. I know a lot of people want to trade. A lot of people want to do this, that, the other thing. We've got the money to do whatever we please. And we've already done one of those things. Let's take a look at the current linebacker situation for the Eagles. And just this past week, we talked about Zach Bond coming on back, and very excited. We know that was obviously the number one priority for the Eagles this offseason, bringing back this stud in the middle. And my man, Richard, appreciate you, dude. Want to shout you out. Got to chat with him for a minute there at CBS today. But we talked about, the fact that during the show a couple weeks ago, when I talked about what Bond should be getting, around the 15 to 18 mil range, he gets 17 and people are freaking out. And it's like, well, look, man, makes him the fourth highest. I feel like he was the best linebacker in the game last year. So a pivotal piece like that, you hear, well, now he does inside linebackers, does inside running backs, and he's done both of those things because, well, they're good. So that's when you sign players that are good. Really hard concept for people to pick up. I don't get it. But with Bond back, makes you feel a lot better, because Nakobe Dean, obviously with that injury, going to take him, about 6 months. He's already a couple months into it. He was off crutches a few weeks into it. So that's great news. You hope that he's ready for the beginning of the season. Could miss some time. But, Dean was balling last year. He and Bond together, what a great 1-2 punch. Now, if Dean isn't ready, or God forbid anything happen, you have Jeremiah Trotter Jr. here. So I love, Trot Jr. We talked about him before the draft last year. We're all hopeful, he became an Eagle like his dad. So love the story. Let's hope that he continues to develop, and, saw signs of good things, and I'm hopeful for his future. But, beyond that, Dallas Gant, the reserve future signing, he was on the practice squad for a few weeks there last year. But Ben VanSumeren, Oren Burks, Nicholas Morrow, free agents. So probably want to have some depth there, right? Now, we've talked about this recently where, you could look into the draft, a lot of young guys, but I'm not sure after, having put capital on that in the draft with Nakobe Dean, signing Zach Bond, I think that those are things that, show that we already put an emphasis. So you kind of want to look for depth, but there are free agents you could sign. There are guys you could draft. They don't have to be high end, whether that's drafting or signing. So let's take a look at all of the free agents here at linebacker. Love to hear your thoughts, whatever you guys, are thinking here. bring in some kind of, starting caliber guy in case of Dean, a backup, whatever you think. Love to hear it. But let's take a look here. First, exclusive rights guys, and these are the guys with 2 years or less who, if they get tendered, they just either sign with that team or they don't play football. So, yeah, that's pretty much their option. Unless the team doesn't tender them, then they become unrestricted free agents. 2 years or less for these guys. Then it's 3 years or less accrued seasons for the restricted guys. And those are the ones that get the first round, second round, original round tenders, the right of refusal tender. So they can try to keep their homegrown talent a little bit. And, this is another one where if they're not tendered, they just become unrestricted and can do whatever they please. So if a team wants them, they can do their best to retain them. They can try to match another team's offer with the restriction here. But unrestricted, obviously, that just means no holds barred, baby, whatever you want to do here. But as usual, we have this in list of what people were making. So this is the bottom. There is another page, another 30 players, a lot of linebackers out there. But you can see on this list, a lot of guys, and I think, some starting caliber. Some provide some pretty good depth there. You see Zach Cunningham is on there. And, guys like Troy Reeder, who looked good last year. He's been real up and down. I thought about putting him on my top fits. You're not going to see him. He's been on my list a couple of years here. We've talked about it. So maybe this year we'll actually sign Troy Reeder now that I didn't put him in my top fits. But regardless, some good depth pieces. Oren Burks, man, the way he stepped in, phenomenal last year. Guys like Jamie and Sherwood, not making much money, but balling out. That dude's going to get paid. I'd love to have him, but I don't know that we're going to be able to. Well, not that we can't, but we're not going to pay another linebacker there. So, that's kind of what went into my thinking when looking at these guys. Who isn't going to cost that much? We've already spent a lot at the linebacker position. Now, this is the first page, the guys making the most money. And, Dre Greenlaw, banged up, missed a lot of last year. Baker there. Isaiah Simmons, Kaiser White, Devondre Campbell, who threw a hissy fit end of the season. Tyrell Dotson, EJ Speed. And look, guys like Speed, Thompson, I'd love to have them. But, again, we have Bond. We have Dean. So, more so these starters kind of try to stay away from. And you've got, some good players here. Nick Bolton. Hell yeah, I'd love to have him. But I just don't think that's a reality for the Eagles right now. So, those are all of the free agents that the Eagles currently have, the option to look at. But again, you just brought back Bond. That's the key one we were all really hoping for. But now beyond that, if they had, maybe they get some undrafted guys, lower end free agents. That's my thoughts. But love to hear your thoughts, whatever you guys think will happen at the linebacker position. But let me show you my top fits for the Philadelphia Eagles out of those linebackers. And we're going to start it off with a guy that I think has starting capability, but he has so many flaws that, and look, Jermaine Pratt, Logan Wilson, really good linebackers. So, that's why they start over Akeem Davis-Gaither here. But 6'2", 228, 27 years old, going to be his sixth season. But I really like his game, his athleticism, a former safety. This is a guy that, has ability to play in a Vic Fangio defense. But I think he had like 12 missed tackles, something crazy last year. 7 starts, 82 tackles, 4 tackles for loss, forced fumble. I do like his game. He has his flaws, but I think for me, I didn't have him higher on the list because I think he will, cost a little bit more than, the money for some of these other guys. Looking for back end. So although not much, still don't know that we pay much of anything. I'm sorry. It is really throwing me off. I'm looking at his arm in the graphic where it cuts off, but the little white part in the B in Bengals makes it look like his arm is a nub. I'm sorry. Anyways, let's keep it moving. Up next, a guy that I also think will cost some money because he played so damn well. And I'd love to have him as my number one fit because Oren Burks, played great when asked. And I think, because of that, unfortunately, you can earn yourself some money there. So maybe a team that needs a starter, maybe a team that, just wants to give you a lot of money. Maybe that's just not the Eagles. So, it could be unfortunate, but he played great last year and, more so in the playoffs, what he was able to do, but had a couple of starts in the season, did a couple of things here, but little journeyman, he was supposed to be our special teamer. So I would love to have him back as that special teamer, but are you paying him a lot to be that special teamer? But again, maybe Dean's not ready. So he is worth it. So that's why I put him on this list as a fit. But I think maybe he makes more than that $2.5 million, maybe around $3 million, and prices himself out. And that would be unfortunate because I would love to have him back. I really would. But that's why I had him lower on this list. Now, at number 3, a guy that's not going to cost you much. And, people still love Isaiah Simmons. And I get it, man. His skill set, he is somebody that, with that versatility, safety, linebacker, hybrid, 6'4", 238, only 26 years old. You talk about what Wink Martindale was able to do with him on the Giants. And then last year, kind of not really doing well with the new defensive coordinator there. But I think, he's got talent and with his ability. And, a guy like Vic Fangio, it's just like Jeff Stoutland when he gets those offensive linemen. You never know what he could find from these guys. And I think that this kind of defense will be perfect for a guy like Isaiah Simmons. And one start last year, didn't do too much, but again, in a new system, change of scenery maybe is exactly what he needs. And he's still young as hell. He's an athletic freak. I think he ran like a 4.39, but he is obviously, if you look at PFF grades and stuff, that not what you want to see there. And he didn't do great in coverage, didn't do exactly great against the run. Whereas, looking at a guy like Oren Burks, who did, really good at both of those things. And, I think Burks was phenomenal against the run. And, a guy like Gaither, not so much. And Simmons just really, did decent. But I don't know that, I need somebody that's going to be able to tackle, right? That's kind of what I'm getting at. So Isaiah Simmons, I, again, think Vic Fangio could find something in him and maybe bring a little spark to him. Hey, I'm a former Giant. Giants suck. Saquon Barkley just won a Super Bowl. Maybe I can too. Now, he struggled mightily in coverage as a former safety. You would think that, he'd be able to do a little bit better, but Davis-Gaither and Burks are much better in coverage. I think the right system, I don't care what stats say. Yeah, he didn't do well for the shitty Giants, but maybe he comes to the Eagles and magical things happen for him. I had him as a top fit. Love to hear your thoughts, but let's get into number 2 here. Joe Bachie, a former Philadelphia Eagle. If you remember, undrafted kid, he got, I think, cut by, New Orleans down there, you see. And then the Eagles claimed him. Then the Eagles cut him a few months later. Then he went to the Bengals. But I think that this is one of those guys that you could bring in as a special teamer. Maybe still has a bright future, only 27 years old. And he's a linebacker, so maybe he unlocks after a few years. You never know. But you could get him for cheap. And I think, he was showing he's got a bright future. So maybe he can earn himself a little bit more money, play somewhere else, opportunity to start. But I think here could be a special teams ace, could help us maybe as a starter if anything, happens with Dean. I think Joe Bachie would be a great pickup. I'd love to have him back in Eagles green. Got him at number 2 here. And look, again, this is a guy where he's definitely probably the best out of all these guys against the run. That's why I've got him so high. Coverage was decent last year, but again, limited play here. So maybe in this system, give it a bigger opportunity, could stand out. Not the greatest in man coverage, but I think somebody I wouldn't be against. Now, number 1 seems like a no-brainer. Ben VanSumeren, exclusive rights free agent. And as I explained earlier in the video, you tender him, and then he either signs it for a league minimum, and he played pretty well. He's really good on special teams, and just his ability to play that fullback position. Now, you've heard me talk about this kid for years. In case you missed it, somebody that went to Michigan as a fullback. That's what they recruited him for. Played a little running back. Then he obviously moved to linebacker. Then he transferred to Michigan State. So he has familiarity with that position. So the Eagles last year, when using him, we were all excited. Some people a little confused, but 6'2", 231, only 24 years old. And he actually had a start last year, had 3 tackles. And look, he got banged up, unfortunate, because, he's really starting to see his role grow. And then once that injury happened, I'm glad it all worked out because Burks played well. And I don't think VanSumeren was playing over Burks regardless. But I think VanSumeren has a very bright future. We talked about his freakish athleticism. I am very excited about the future for this kid. So if you add Ben VanSumeren with Dean and Bond, and then you got Jeremiah Trotter Jr. there, that's 4 good linebackers. And the Eagles don't like to keep more than that, really. Maybe they keep a 5th, but maybe that's one of those veteran free agents we just talked about. Maybe you draft somebody to compete. But I'm liking where the Eagles linebacker room's headed because, well, you effing signed Zach Bond, and that's all I could have asked for. This offseason, I'd love to have Mekhi Becton back. I wish we could get Milton Williams back. Don't know that happens, but The linebacker position, I'm feeling pretty good about. Not one of my positions of need anymore. Happy to have Vaughn back, but love to hear your thoughts on this. Love to hear who you liked. You got top 3 fits. You got a top 5, top 10, top 20. I don't care what it is. Love to hear from you. Hope you're having a great Saturday, though. I got to get rolling out. If you enjoyed this video, do me a favor. Hit that like button. Share this bad boy. Subscribe down below. Join this family. And get ready for an exciting sicko season. And then to go win that back-to-back Super Bowl while building this dynasty. I'm promising you, I've got the crystal ball out, and I'm telling you what it's saying to me. Super Bowl or bust, let's effing go Birds. But hope you guys all have a great weekend. I will get that cornerback and safety video out as soon as I can, and then next week we're talking free agency, baby, so let's effing go. But until next time, I am Jimmy Smith, and this is On the Road to Victory. You all stay safe out there, and as always, go Birds!